flight attendant moved me from first class until she discovered I'm the airline CEO testing service quality. I boarded flight 342 from Chicago to New York at 6:30 p.m., deliberately wearing sweatpants and an oversized hoodie to blend in during my quarterly undercover service evaluation. As the CEO of Skyline Airways, I conducted these surprise assessments to ensure our customer service standards remained consistent across all routes and staff levels. My first class seat 2A, part of the test to see how flight attendants treated passengers who didn't look the part of typical premium travelers. The moment I settled into my leather seat, I could feel the judgment radiating from the lead flight attendant, Jessica Walsh, according to her nameplate. She approached with that fake professional smile that barely masked her obvious disdain for my casual appearance and larger frame. "Sir, I think there's been a mistake with your seating assignment," she said loudly enough for nearby passengers to hear clearly. When I showed her my boarding pass confirming seat 2A, Jessica's expression shifted to barely concealed irritation as she examined the pass like it might be counterfeit. "Our system must have malfunctioned. There's no way someone dressed like that should be in first class." Her colleague Amanda joined the conversation, both women now blocking the aisle while other passengers watched the spectacle unfold. "Look at him," Jessica whispered loudly to Amanda. "Probably used frequent flyer miles he didn't earn or got some kind of charity upgrade. Either way, he doesn't belong here." They made no effort to lower their voices as more first-class passengers began turning to stare. "Our real customers pay good money for the first-class experience," Jessica continued. "They shouldn't have to sit next to someone who clearly can't afford to be here and doesn't fit our standards." The situation escalated when Jessica noticed my weight, her professional facade cracking completely as she gestured at my body with obvious disgust. "Sir, our first-class seats have weight restrictions for safety reasons. I'm going to need you to move to economy where the seats are more accommodating for people of your size." Amanda nodded enthusiastically while pulling out her phone to document what she clearly thought was proper procedure. "We've had issues before with larger passengers damaging our premium leather seats," Jessica announced to the entire cabin. "The airline isn't responsible for replacement costs when passengers exceed our seating guidelines." Other first-class travelers were now openly staring, while some pulled out their phones to record the confrontation. "Ma'am, I have a confirmed first-class ticket," I said calmly, maintaining my cover while documenting their behavior. "Confirmed or not, you're disrupting our service standards," Jessica replied, her voice growing more hostile as she turned to address the watching passengers directly. "Our first-class cabin maintains a certain atmosphere, and frankly, you're making our other passengers uncomfortable. We're working to resolve the seating issue and restore the premium experience you've paid for." Amanda had positioned herself behind my seat, making exaggerated gestures about the space I was taking up. "Look how he's spilling into the aisle," she said loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is a safety hazard. What if we need to evacuate quickly?" Jessica nodded approvingly while continuing her performance for the growing audience of passengers who were now recording every moment of their discriminatory behavior. The harassment reached its peak when Jessica decided to involve the captain, radioing the cockpit about a passenger issue requiring immediate attention. She described me as an oversized individual causing disruption in the premium cabin who was refusing to comply with safety regulations. Amanda continued taking photos while Jessica explained to nearby passengers that some people try to game the system. "We see this all the time," she announced loudly. "People who think they can just pay for first class and automatically belong here, regardless of whether they actually fit the profile of our typical clientele." Several passengers were now recording the interaction, while Jessica's confidence grew with each supportive nod from the watching crowd. The captain's voice crackled over the intercom at exactly 7:02 p.m. "This is Captain Morrison with an important announcement. We have our CEO, David Ashworth, aboard this flight conducting a routine service evaluation. All crew members should be aware that your performance is being assessed." Jessica's face went from smug satisfaction to pure terror in 3 seconds. Amanda dropped her phone, the device clattering to the floor as the implications hit her. Every passenger who'd been recording their harassment was now focused on me with growing fascination. The first-class cabin fell completely silent as Jessica and Amanda realized they'd just publicly humiliated their own boss while documenting every second of their discriminatory behavior. "Mr. Ashworth, please accept my deepest apologies," Jessica stammered, her hands shaking as she tried to process the magnitude of her mistake. Amanda was backing away slowly, her face pale as she understood that her career had just ended in the most public way possible. The passengers who'd been supporting their harassment now looked uncomfortable, realizing they'd been participating in the mistreatment of the man who owned the airline. Within 48 hours, both Jessica and Amanda were terminated for gross misconduct in violation of company anti-discrimination policies. The incident became a case study in our mandatory sensitivity training program. Jessica's final text was barely readable through her tears. "I'm so sorry. I have kids to support, but respect and human dignity aren't negotiable, regardless of appearance."